so I think we can get started. So I wanted to start things with our national anthem, sung by Miss Jordan Riley. Unfortunately, the memo to set up a microphone didn't quite make it, so that's okay. I'm sure you can belt it out of it. It's a small area.
Broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner.
Especially Superintendent Bob Schaps, Liz Klain, and our assistant principals for their support of this event every year, our custodial staff for setting it up for us annually, our clerical staff for their support. But I think really the reason we're all here, and the most obvious thank you that needs to be given, is to our nation's veterans. If you were one who served, if you would please stand if possible and be recognized, I would really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Really, that's why we're here. And although this is a very brief ceremony, it means a lot that so many of you come to this event, especially in front of our Vietnam Memorial Showcase, which honors the 12 residents of our community who died serving the country in the Vietnam War. And we went through a lot of pains to make sure we all have their picture. And it really is a fitting tribute. I think this is a good place to have it, especially because we're safe from rain in here as well, which is often a big problem in November. We also like to welcome the support of local organizations for this event, like the VFW and American Legion posts in our community, and also the support of the Kemper Memorial Park Preservation Fund. That's been really meaningful. So today, I'd like to start things off with a reading by one of my fellow social studies teachers, Pedro Vega. He transferred up this year from the Hammocks, and he has a short speech to share with us, provided by the VFW Auxiliary. Pedro?
Before I begin, I should acknowledge that I am probably a very disappointing pitch hitter. Originally, I believe Dr. Schatz's son was supposed to be here, and like all what happens a lot of times, members of active military, they are called away. So I am here in his place. So I guess it's kind of like paying to see Bryce Harper and then you get AAA, but all right. All right, so this is a letter, like Pete said, VFW. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, the fighting of World War I ended in 1918. Due to the conclusion of the war to end all wars, November 11th became a universally recognized day of celebration. The day was originally called Armistice Day, 8 years after the end of World War I, and honored only veterans of that war. Then in 1954, after World War II and the Korean War, it was renamed Veterans Day to honor all veterans who served in America in war and defended democracy. So today we honor all of our veterans who unselfishly placed their lives in the line of our freedom. Those men and women were ordinary people until they heard the call of duty and answered. They left their families, their homes, and their lives. Not for recognition or fame, or for even the honor we bestow upon them today. They fought to protect our country, to maintain our way of life. As we honor our veterans and remember their great deeds, let us also salute those who currently are fighting for our freedom. The war on terrorism has helped us realize how truly unique the American way of life is. The freedom we enjoy is extremely special, and that is why we must defend it. So now is the time to not only honor those who have fought or are fighting for our freedom, it is also the time for each of us to take part in protecting it. The defense of freedom is not just for those in the military. Each of us shares that duty and that responsibility. We don't have to join the Army or the Navy or any other organization of defense to actively defend our way of life. We can protect our freedom simply by maintaining it here in America. If we want to preserve our freedoms, we must put them into action. For example, by voting in elections or speaking out against injustices. We must also ensure that everyone feels the benefits of freedom. And we can do that by volunteering in our communities or teaching our children what it really means to be an American. Veterans Day isn't just a day for veterans. It's a day for all Americans. It's a day to remember why they were fighting, and a day for all of us to begin our journey of protecting our freedoms and the freedom of many future generations. Thank you for honoring our veterans today. Let us walk toward tomorrow, still honoring them by living in the freedom they protect. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pedro. I really appreciate it. I did plan on having another vet in our community speak. Is Mr. Leuzzi here? Let's see, he was detained. Okay, so not a big deal. So shorter ceremony. Okay. So again, it's a very brief ceremony, partly because there's a second part to it. So outside of the Kemper Memorial, despite the drizzly weather, we're going to have an opportunity for students, especially from the middle school, to come up and speak one-on-one to veterans. So that's the second part of our ceremony. It's organized by Richard Darcy down from the middle school. And I want to ask us to go out there, but first, just a few final things. Again, I'd like to thank all of our veterans for coming to this ceremony. I'm sorry it was cut a little short. Notably those behind me who made the ultimate sacrifice on behalf of their nation. These are young men often called to a faraway land, not much older than the students who attend this school, and they have their entire lives in front of them, but those lives are cut short. And even those who do come home, or maybe didn't necessarily serve in combat, they volunteered to take a portion of their life and give it to somebody else for someone else's benefit. And that sacrifice is impossible to repay, but it is absolutely worth honor. And I've often remarked that it's so important in my mind that Veterans Day and Election Day are so close together, because Election Day is where we are able to express the rights for which so many give up their rights to serve a higher purpose, and that's our great American Republic. So our meet and greet event is outside immediately following, but I just want to remind folks about the upcoming ceremonies on Monday on American Legion Post 90 at 11 a.m. So Pedro said 11, 11, 11, the end of World War I. That's at 189 Prospect Avenue. I'm good? Across from the police station. It's always good to have a landmark. American Legion Post 347 is at 5 p.m. at the Post Hall in Flint Park. And then the VFW event, that one I couldn't track down on.
There is no specific event.
There's no specific event for me. So those so any one of those American Legion events are really worth attending. They're pretty moving. So now I would ask us all to kind of reconvene out by the Kemper Memorial. That's the memorial dedicated to those from our community who died in the Second World War. 101 members of the Washington American community. Thank you very much for your attendance to our very brief ceremony this year.
When I got out of the active duty, I went to college. I had the GI Bill, was very generous to me. I have a master's degree in business administration. All up.
Right.